Until noon, you're listening to Neil Mitchell.
Prime Minister's with me, 96900 693 13 13 32. Prime Minister, excuse me, there's a lot of other questions. Clive Palmer says you need a mini budget or a double dissolution. What do you say?
Well, no, we need the crossbenchers in the Senate to respect the government's mandate, and we did get a clear mandate to get the budget back under control. We got a clear mandate to repeal the mining tax and the spending associated with this tax that's raising little money but causing a lot of disruption to investment and to employment. So
you won't get either?
Look, we will sit down with the crossbenchers and we will respectfully talk to them about what we have in mind. But what they have to accept is that we have a debt and deficit disaster. We are borrowing $1 billion every single month just to pay the interest on Labor's debt, and we cannot continue spending money that we just don't have.
Prime Minister, the Middle East, 23 days it's been running, 1,300 Palestinians dead, 60 Israelis dead, 56 of those soldiers. A UN school hit overnight, apparently by Israeli shells. All the Israelis are still investigating that. 3,000 Palestinians there, 15 dead. This is what the UN Deputy Director General said. He began a media conference about it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, dear friends, sometimes you run out of words. We have received with shock and dismay the news of the bombing this morning of a UN-designated shelter. And all indicators are that it was an Israeli artillery that hit the school.
I repeat, the Israelis are not admitting responsibility. They are investigating. They said if it was them, it wasn't deliberate. 15 dead, some children. Should Israel back off?
Well, there should be a ceasefire, Neil.
Whose responsibility
is that? No doubt about that. There should be a ceasefire. It should be a ceasefire immediately by both sides. That's what there should be, because plainly too many people are dying. It's just wrong what's happening. So there should be a ceasefire. In the end, what we do need to work towards is a lasting solution in the Middle East, and that is a two-state solution where the Palestinians do accept Israel's right to exist behind secure borders.
Do you agree there's an element of anti-Semitism entering this now? A lot of the criticism seems to be focused on Israel, which in the end is under attack itself.
Well, that's right, and every other day there are rocket attacks on Israel from Gaza. Now, they're not normally very effectual because, amongst other things, of the Israeli Iron Dome missile defence system, which is a sort of a technological triumph. It's a work of apparent genius, but nevertheless, Israel and Gaza and the Palestinians more generally need to sit down, and we need a two-state solution, and it does have to be based on a recognition of Israel's right to exist behind secure borders.
Okay, so who does Australia support in this? In simple terms, are the Israelis right?
I don't necessarily support every single thing that the Israeli government does, because
are they justified in this attack?
They're capable of making mistakes just like everyone else is, but no one intends or should intend any attack which results in the death of innocent people. Now, we support Israel's right to exist. We support Israel's right to self-defense. We support the Palestinians' right to a state of their own, but that's got to go hand in hand with the recognition of Israel's right to exist behind secure borders. And the problem in the Middle East is that in the end, so many people are not prepared to accept Israel's right to exist.
Some seem to be saying Israel's overreacted, has it?
Look, as you know, Neil, I've been rather more focused on the MH17 matter than I have on this, and I'm reluctant to judge. All I say is that there should be an immediate ceasefire. Innocent people are dying, but we must also be working towards a long-term solution that does involve the recognition of Israel's right to exist behind secure borders.
Ed, go ahead, please, Ed.
G'day, Neil. Hello, Prime Minister.
Hi, Ed.
Hi. Simple question, yes or no, don't be wishy-washy. Is Putin coming to the G20 in Brisbane? Don't be wishy-washy, yes or no.
Don't be wishy-washy, Prime Minister.
I would like to be in a position for him to continue to attend.
So it's not a yes or no yet.
Well,
Either's possible.
Look, Ed, I know you'll be disappointed, but a lot can happen in 4 months.
You disappointed, Ed?
I'm absolutely disappointed. You're not sending out a strong signal to us, Australians or the world. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is there's all these sanctions in place. There's all these travel bans, yet he's still travelling the whole world. I don't understand it.
Okay. Anything to add, Prime Minister?
Well, look, I could hardly have been clearer when all this happened. Our people were murdered, and they were murdered because their plane was shot down by Russian-backed rebels. Now, that is the absolute truth. And as time goes by, absolutely nothing has emerged to cast any substantial doubt on that initial analysis.
The serious point, Julie Bishop's doing a good job on this. The not-so-serious point, does that mean she's now heir apparent ahead of Joe?
Well, you're right. It's a not-so-serious point, Neil.
So who's the heir apparent?
This is a parlour game, beloved of journalists and political intriguers.
And a few politicians enjoy it as well.
Neil, look, I am very lucky. There are a lot of very talented people on the coalition front bench. Joe, Julie, Malcolm, Scott, and others. I mean, there are a lot of talented people on the front bench, and but I'm not intending to do anything other than my current job.
And Joe and Malcolm are mates again, are they?
Look, it's a very good, solid team. Neil, look, we occasionally have our arguments, but arguments between friends are usually a good way of better approaching what is right and true.
Twiggy Forrest was suggesting in a report to you, as it reported in The Australian today, effectively a voucher system for welfare. Does that appeal?
Well, I'm not sure that's exactly what he's suggesting. As you might know, Neil, we have this system of welfare quarantining where people in some places on some sorts of benefits get 50% of their benefit available to them as cash, and 50% of them has to be spent on the necessities of life through this thing called a basics card. At the moment, it's quite administratively cumbersome, and what Twiggy's talking about in the report, which will be released tomorrow and will be available for everyone to see, is using smarter technology to make that work easier. Now, I'm happy to look at better technology because where it is appropriate to have a system of welfare quarantining, and a lot of people actually opt for this. They think it will help me to budget better if I've got a system like this. Where it is appropriate to have a system of welfare quarantining, let's try to make it work as smoothly and as efficiently as possible.
According to the latest budget, the welfare bill's $146 billion.
Yes.
Can we afford to continue that? Is this the key issue we're facing?
Well, what we need to try to do is to ensure that our society is as productive as possible. Now, at the moment, Neil, we have 5 working age people for every retirement age person, and in 2050, on current trends, we'll only have 3 working age people for every retirement age person.
Are these people bludging on the system?
No,
or are these people that are genuine in their problems?
I'm trying to give you the dimensions of the overall problem. One of the reasons why we want to lift the retirement age to try to get people to be economic contributors for longer is because if the retirement age was 70 as opposed to 65, in 2050 we would have 4 working age people for every 1 retirement age person.
So there's a symbol work for dole scheme that's been reported today will in fact be working side by side with criminals who are on community service orders. That's not a good look, is it? They're not criminals.
Well, no, and people who are working out their sentence are, in a sense, paying their dues to society. What we're trying to do here is to give people who are longer term unemployed the opportunity to show everyone what they can do, not what they can't do. And Work for the Dole was something that I was very involved with under the Howard government, a terrific program It has, I regret to say, been largely butchered under the former government. We need to bring it back and bring it back strongly.
And in a word, you're still committed to paid parental leave?
Look, I don't break promises, and this was a promise I took to 2 elections.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Neil.
Prime Minister, back to Glasgow after the news.